Hey everyone, welcome to the Transformers review. This is the Transformers crossover with X-Men. The Ultimate X-Spanse. He is a leader class. You can see he is the blue jet thing, the X-Jet, I think they call it. Was it the X-Jet? Yeah, I think it was the X-Jet. It's been a while. But yeah, you can see them there. We'll put that off to the side for now. Look at this box right here. Yep, it's a fairly large box because he is in vehicle mode when he's in the box. So, of course, yeah. You can see there's an Ultimate X-Spanse there. You can see the X-Men cross Transformers logo. You see Transformers there's the side, Marvel Comics and Hasbro and Ages 8+, and converts from X-Jet to robots. Yeah, it is the X-Jet. Just had to look at the box. You see that there. On top here you see, again, the same logos and whatnot. And this is the old 90s X-Men. So you got that, and you got the robot mode and the vehicle mode there. You got a weird, like, blueprint-esque thing of the X-Jet, although you can see it's not quite super accurate. You see the X-Jet is a little different. Over here you got some picture of Wolverine and Sabretooth right there on the side. On this side you have a picture of X-Spanse again. And then on the bottom you got, well, got authentic Transformers and a bunch of copyrights and stuff and not much else. And on the back, of course, you got product shots and, energy blasts and, how many steps and warnings and like Wolverine and all that stuff. So there you go. Comes, of course, with instructions, which are not the greatest, to say the least. They don't give you very good detail on what to do. So it's like there's several times like, am I doing this right? I'm not sure. Because it's not exactly clear how you're supposed to go from one step to another. Yeah. Here is, well, the X-Jet, X-Spanse. And again, yeah, they had to kind of take a bit of a liberty with the design because, well, they didn't want to, I guess, spend too much molding on remolding. So yeah, it's basically the remold, a heavy remold actually of Studio Series Jetfire, the leader class. So yeah, you can see it's very, very, very reminiscent of an SR-71 Blackbird in this mode. Those, different nose cone and different venting and whatnot. A lot of differences, but yeah, it's the same basic shape overall. You also see once again, because it's a jet, well, you can see a large chunk of the alt mode or robot mode just kind of chilling out underneath here, because that's just how it kind of is with a lot of jets. But you can also see he's also very large. Takes up a lot of space. Then you can also see, those little, X-Men logo right here on the wing. You got the yellow venting again. You got this black right here. A little bits of detail. Thrusters, just mostly blue. The cockpit is here. You can see, I believe that is translucent pink plastic right there. I believe this is very softer rubber, although it's not. It's like hard for rubbery plastic, but softer than the rest of the plastic. And you also see the one other problem, which is this is a kind of general problem that pops up a lot, which is these wings like to flop around a lot. It doesn't take much to just kind of, you see they're floppy. This is after me kind of fixing them, because before one of them just would not stay up. I had to pop the wings off and then heat them up so that they'd grip on, because it's just a friction thing right here. I had to heat it up and then squeeze these closer together while heating it up so that they'd hold on better. And even now they're still really loose. They're just better than they were. They're just at the point of like, okay, that's good enough. I'm not getting annoyed by it because one of them just refused to stay up, period. But yeah, that's apparently a common problem with this, is just the wings are just so loose that they refuse to stay up. So you might have to do that. Just heat the wings up and squeeze the little things that friction on closer together so that it'll stay. But other than that, it's actually a pretty good looking, if not totally accurate, jet mode for the X-Men. He also comes, of course, with a couple accessories. Some of which aren't really super relevant until you get to robot mode, but they do have a use here. You got this, these little energy claws and a little energy blast effect, which, yeah, these can store, and it's they store underneath here, and there's a little peg holes right here, and you just go ahead and peg these in to those holes. Yeah, peg those in, and there you go. those store right there. It is a rubbery plastic. A lot of people are concerned about these kinds of rubbery plastics now, about how they kind of had a tendency to melt these plastics. I have no idea if that's going to happen with this yet because, well, it's still fairly new. So that's one thing. And two other accessories it comes with. A little Wolverine, a little Sabretooth. Not the best paint jobs you can probably see. I mean, Wolverine here is got a very yeah. There's some iffiness. I mean, from far away it looks fine, but once you start getting up close, it starts looking weird. Yeah, you can see with him as well, Sabretooth there. It's kind of a not great. The faces aren't really don't have a lot of super great detailing and whatnot. Yeah, but yeah, the general colors are right, but it's just like a lot of details missing. Another thing is there's one other accessory, which is this little pink thing. Its whole purpose is to kind of like loop around these guys and like, I don't know, it's like a comic book effect, I guess, or something. I'm not sure what that's supposed to be, but it exists and can go around both of them. It's just kind of a thing that exists. And yeah, of course they also, they stand their static poses. But yeah, they stand somewhat. Wolverine's a little more unstable just because he's, his pose specifically makes him a little more unstable. But he does stand it once you get it going. Yeah, so that's the thing right there. Couple comparisons, I guess, real quick because, well, it's a crossover. I guess we could bring out all the other crossover guys I have. So here's Ectotron. Gigawatt, still my favorite of the crossovers, and we'll get Maverick in here too, and of course his missile just fell off. You can see quite a size difference between these two jets. So yeah, that's kind of all the crossover guys out so far, and apparently we're getting a Jurassic Park crossover, which is just going to be the Beast Wars Megatron mold. Not sure if I'll get that because, well, yeah, not sure if it's worth getting, especially if there's like a little difference other than it's a different color. Who knows? We'll find out. But yeah, that's the jet mode. Okay, so to transform him, first you'll want to take the accessories off if you haven't already. Because, yep, don't need those there. Then you want to take the landing gear and move that up, and these will just go up like that. Those landing gear. Then back here, what you want to do is take the feet and straighten those out. Straighten those out like that. And then you want to disconnect the engines from the rest of it. And what it is, they kind of tab up into the panel right there, so you just kind of lift them away and then separate like that. Just to get them out of the way a little bit. And then next thing is, well, you want to go ahead and open that up a bit. And then there's these little panels on the inside of the engines. See these? You want to open these panels up. That lets you get that out of the way. This up a bit. Yeah, so go ahead and open that panel and open this panel up, and that lets you lift this up and out of the way. And then you go ahead and straighten these out like that. Straighten that out. Straighten that out. And go ahead and start straightening those out as well. This is probably the part that's a little finicky to deal with. This is the part that the instructions have a really difficult time properly relaying to you. What you need to do is lift this part, this half up. This needs to lift up like that. Same with this bottom half needs to go down away from the central thing. See, it's actually dual hinges inside, so it doesn't lift straight up, it kind of angles. Then you have to rotate both of these pieces. And this thing right here, you want to also move down a bit more, kind of gets out of the way. And then you have to reline these up, so you have to bring this down like this, and bring this one up like this. And that forms a leg. Then you bring this back like this, with the panel still open. You bring this back, and then these panels will tab in right here in these little slots. Like that. I'll secure them in place. Get the foot all straightened away. Then you can take these and just kind of move them back. Like these pieces can just all move back to the back of the leg. Then you can bring this forward and down, and that's one leg done. Same thing on this side. I'm gonna open this up. Again, double hinges. Rotate them around. Rotate around. And then make sure to, yeah. Move this up, move that as much as possible, and then start collapse that in. Collapse these in like this. Of course, I have to reattach this wing because it came off. Because again, it's still kind of loose, unfortunately. Yeah. Bring this up like that. Tap it in. Tap that in. Do what you will. Do what you want with the fins, and don't pop them out though. Go. Also, of course, straighten the leg out. And that's the lower body pretty much done. Yeah, so that's the lower body done. Now, up here, you want to go ahead, back here, you want to lift these panels away, up and away from the rest of the jet. Like that. You just kind of get those up and out of the way. And just move that back. Just move this part back and out of the way as well. And the nose cone, you want to go ahead and untab that from the arms. And this whole assembly will kind of come down. And you also want to, let's see, what was it? It's always a weird one. Get that out of the way for now. The arms you go ahead and separate from one another. Come down at the shoulders. And then here you want to go ahead and take this, rotate that piece, and then click that into place. So it's kind of a weird locking mechanism. You bring the arm down and rotate it so, you know, facing the correct direction. Same on this side, rotate, bring it around, hold wrist around, bring the arm down, rotate it the bicep. And you go ahead and bring this thing down. You got to feed this down in such a way that, you know, clears the head. And this also bring that down, bring this down. Bring this down, make sure the head doesn't get sucked in with it. It doesn't really like lock in, but it's kind of like a weird thing that this part right here kind of doesn't lock in super hard, but yeah, it's weird. Down here, I want to go ahead and just take this and fold this up. Yeah, this is the, well, it's getting stuck. Okay, these panels right here, you have to get them around so they rotate around like this, so that when this comes down, yeah, you want them so they are facing up like that. Then you can bring this up, and there's a peg hole that goes over this peg. Like that. This comes down. This piece right here, down here, I'm going to go ahead and open that up. Like that. And then this right here, undoes itself from, and then bring it down, collapse it in, tab itself in like that, and then bring this up. And this doesn't tab in anywhere, it just kind of goes up and rests against it, as far as I can tell. There's like no tabbing really, other than this thing kind of notches into this right here. This right here notches into that, although it's like not super amazing connection. But yeah, get that all squared away up there. This stuff you just kind of have chilling out. That's kind of right like that. Straighten out the legs because they're probably slightly out of alignment or something. There you go. That's X-Spanse in his robot mode. Again, the most difficult part is honestly dealing with the legs, the lower leg transformation, and figuring out how to get this stupid thing rotated around the correct direction. Because otherwise it's like, once you do, it's actually everything else is actually pretty easy. It's just that part is just like, why? Why is this part like, it doesn't help that the directions do not explain to you that you actually have to rotate it the opposite direction what you think, and with the legs, it just kind of, it's really vague with the legs, unfortunately. So that's a thing. But yeah, it's a pretty decent looking robot. Obviously heavily based off Cyclops. Terrible character, but whatever. No, that just came undone. There we go. Didn't tap it in. Super solid. Yeah. Yeah, again, based on Cyclops, it's actually pretty good looking. The only thing is, yeah, I don't like these. I wish these like went somewhere beyond just, just chilling out up here. I wish these weren't here. I just wish they like folded away or something besides just chilling up there. People have resorted to just removing that piece, which understandable, but because everything else, I don't even like these little wing things right back here. Because the whole idea is kind of like, it kind of has a little elements of all the X-Men, I guess, to a degree. Although mostly Cyclops, because that's the primary guy here. But yeah, it looks good for the most part. You get, again, lots of yellow showing up in this mode. You get this, the X and an X and an X, and get the theme yet. Yeah, you get, it's nice little shoulder designs, and you got kind of a faux utility belt and everything. He's got the Cyclops visor and everything. He's got little wings. Yeah, it looks pretty good, all things considered. It's just, the transformation's a little weird, and I wouldn't say hard. It's just, there's a couple times you're just like, wait, is this how it's supposed to work? It's one of those. It's like, once you actually figure it out, it's not hard. It's just instructions that do a very poor job of explaining it to you, which is annoying to say the least. So yeah, it's a pretty good looking figure overall. It's just, the thing is, he also retails for $65, and that's kind of like, because it's one of those things where every single one of these crossover figures have an extra cost attached to them just because of licensing and whatnot. And this one, yeah, I guess the X-Men license is not exactly cheap, considering this tax an extra $15 onto the $50 leader price point. I mean, yeah, it's a good figure, but I'm not sure it's worth $50. But the good news is, apparently, because of that $65, he's been languishing, and now he's starting to go on steep discounts. I think GameStop is selling them for like $32 or something like that recently. So, yeah, that's a thing. Yeah, those little rubbery plastic accessories. Yep, these things. There's little peg holes in his hands, and those just peg on. So yeah, you can, pretend to be Wolverine. It's like Wolverine, except energy based, I guess. And this, which I have no idea. I don't know which X-Man that's supposed to be or whatever. Yeah, those are things. Actually, I remember I thought this thing was going to be like, a little visor effect, but no, it doesn't fit. I think that would have been a lot better if this was like a little visor effect, because, Cyclops, this whole thing is pew, eye lasers. But, yeah, those are things you can do with these things. Believe it or not, the instructions tell you with a Wolverine and Sabretooth, just put them on top of here. Just balance them on top of there. Like this. What you can do, I thought, do they peg on? No, they do not. They do not peg on or tab on or anything. They just kind of, you can have them balance up there. That's it. The slightest jostle will cause them to fall. So yeah, that's what you can do with them in the robot mode. I'm just going to go ahead and remove these because we're going to go ahead and get into articulation. Because articulation, actually, first, there's the other one cool feature is this. Hey, look, he can lift up his visor, and he's got a big old red eyes. Well, now you can lift that up if you want, or keep it down, whichever thing. So articulation, though, his head is on a dual hinge thing. So it's like a swivel, you got a hinge for up and down. So there's that. So that's pretty good. Shoulders can go forward and back, although they kind of get blocked up by this stuff and the wings and stuff. But theoretically, all 360-degree rotation. Got outward here. Then you got the transformation hinge, which, because this doesn't lock in, you can do that, although it starts to look bad. But you can do that if you want. You got a bicep swivel. Elbows, just about 90 degrees. Wrists do swivel. That's nice. The waist is weird. You got the right waist rotation. It's a little limited thanks to the backpack. You can see that. It's a little limited, but he's also got this weird, like, sideways joint right here. It doesn't lock in or anything, so it's just wibbly. Some people don't like it. It's like they're trying to give him an extra joint, and there's also, he can technically kind of sort of ab crunch a bit too. It just doesn't hold at all. So it's like, all it does is give him a wobbly waist, which you think would be helpful, but just winds up being useless largely, and just kind of annoying because he just can't seem to stand up straight. So that's frustrating. Legs though, hips, ratcheted forward. They ratchet forward about that far. Backwards, well, they start banging and stuff that when they get that far. Outwards, again, more ratcheting. Soft ratchet, but pretty high, more than full splits. Got a thigh swivel, knees. He technically has double jointed knees, but they don't really work super well. And again, there's that. That's annoying. Yeah, so he does technically have double jointed knees. It just basically he only has the range of a single jointed knee. Then unfortunately, double jointed knees that aren't really useful. And of course, down here you got ankle tilts, and toes can actually go up, so that's cool. You got toe joint. You got ankle tilts, not really much else, and a stupid thing that came off again. There we go. Yeah, so is he worth getting? I don't know. Are you a huge fan of X-Men? In particular, the old 90s X-Men cartoon, which, of course, now I'm thinking about it, which means you're thinking about the theme song, which is now going to be stuck in your head for the rest of the day. And, if you're really a big fan of that old X-Men cartoon, yeah, probably. But he is $65. Thankfully, again, he's going pretty cheap at a lot of places now, so you don't have to pay the $65. If you can get him for the standard leader price or even less, yes, absolutely. He's totally worth it. He's a pretty cool little thing. Unfortunately, he's got a couple annoyances. That wobbly waist thing is kind of weird, or ab joint thing. That's just kind of weird. It's one of those, it's an idea. It doesn't really work though, but they tried, so I guess points for trying, but it doesn't work super well. I don't like the stupid little flaps above his head. I wish that was dealt with better. It is an impressive retooling of a very different looking robot, Studio Series Jetfire from the live action movies. That is a very different looking robot, and the fact they turned that into this is actually pretty genuinely impressive, all things considered. The transformation is actually not that difficult, but there are a couple annoyances, particularly mostly with the lower legs. Those can be a little annoying, particularly the first time when you're still trying to figure out how it's supposed to go. In the jet mode, the wings are very loose and have a tendency to kind of droop. And as you saw, mine have popped off multiple times, which is really annoying. He's got a couple extra accessories, which are like, they're not amazing. So there's that. So yeah, it's I don't know. But yeah, also one thing, because I actually did forget for a second, comparisons to a degree. Let's see if I can actually, I'm going to put it back a little bit so I can try to get everyone in the shot. Here's Ectotron, the first one. Gigawatt. And Maverick. So there's the crossover guys so far, and also just because I guess standard. Here's Earthrise, Optimus, Yeah. You see that? Yeah. He's the biggest of all the crossover guys so far. And, yeah. Which is why he's, leader class and $65. Well, supposed to be $65. Again, though, he's on sale frequently enough that don't pay $65. You can avoid it. He's good, but ain't that good. And it's one of those things that you're going to definitely get more enjoyment out of him if you actually really are attached to the old 90s X-Men cartoon. The jet mode's kind of neat, but also not very accurate at all because they weren't willing to go that far to remold him. They could have, but they didn't, which is unfortunate. He's worth it, but yeah, definitely get him on sale, I think. Unless you're a hyper mega fan of X-Men, 90s X-Men, so yeah. That's it, I think. He's cool, but not $65 cool. So yeah, thankfully it's easy to get him on sale. So I hope you found this informative and entertaining. I hope you'll like, comment, subscribe. I'll also check out my Twitter. I'm at Nemesis Prime 1. I post pictures there somewhat regularly of my figures. I haven't done that in a while, but mostly because I've been kind of busy. Check out Patreon and Coffee, and I hope to see you next time with another video review.